Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What Do You Say? I'm your host, Frank Terminé. With me, again, finally, who hasn't been on this podcast for I don't know how long, my brother, co-host, Andrew Terminé. We have a return guest. We're talking about some new material, promoting his, we're going to call it a movement.
Yeah.
We'll call it a movement. Stronger. Tony Cardello.
Might be one of our most viewed
It might have been
podcasts.
I think here I'll tell you who was.
Jessica Arbuckle.
She beat you.
I think
She
so.
said she was coming after you.
Yeah,
She did
she
say
did some promoting, I think.
So we're gonna,
she paid for some people to watch it.
Yeah, she's
Here,
paid
let's
way
just
Great story. Great story.
I'm just curious to see. So well, here you really can't just look at the YouTube views.
Oh, that's true.
And I'm going to tell you why. This is the hardest one to break. Spotify and Apple Podcasts get way more because this is only about 10% of the views.
Oh, I haven't seen those.
Yeah, because we average like 4,000 to 5,000 views.
Do you know one of the sound bites from the Pious thing got 22,000 views already?
Really?
wow.
Yeah. So if you look,
Awesome.
I can't believe. So like this Talisha Curry, which was an absolutely amazing story, on YouTube only got 15 views so far.
How long was it?
How long was the podcast?
Hour and a half, baby.
I was so surprised. The one I did with Dane it was 3 hours long.
Yeah. Sit and talk.
I can't believe
Here,
it.
Bob and Audrey Meisner. This story's. I mean, that the fact that only on YouTube now that like once again most of it's coming from Spotify and Apple Podcasts, 72 views. You know, I mean, it's that you've heard that story.
Yeah, and I think honestly anymore, like long podcasts that don't have bookmarks to describe their content inside of YouTube, I think get less views.
Probably.
You know, like I watch Sean Ryan's show, which is one of my favorite podcasters. And Joe Rogan doesn't do it, but he didn't really have to. Sean Ryan does put the bookmarks in there, and I really find them useful because I just want to go to the content that I want to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So Jessica on YouTube got 681 views, and
She shared it with all of her real estate people.
Yeah, she's a networker.
God bless her.
That's a one of her superpowers.
you got 601 views, Tone. And what did I say? She got 681.
Well, you're coming back to crack the top.
Here we go.
We're gonna break the internet.
What did I do? 681. She got 80 more views than you on YouTube. So once again,
What do you want?
yeah, right.
She's look prettier than him.
Once again, you're talking about only like
Wait.
roughly 10%. And that one's a
We're
little-
fitting to break the internet on this one.
So okay, but here.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hold on. There we go. We're here. You good?
We're good.
Okay.
Check. Okay. So we want to talk about where you've been because I always like the transitional stories from like where you were to here you are creating this movement. I actually had Father Mark's acronym for handling adversity for CORE. So like it was interesting because I have CORE personal training, I've had CORE physical therapy. Now he's got this acronym for handling adversity, which is CORE, which means taking back some type of control. C is for control, taking some back, you know, and then O is origin. And what was the other one? There's two O's were two different things.
Right.
Origin and I can't remember what it was, but then R is reach and how far you're going to let it reach into your everything else. And then E is endurance and how long you're going to have to endure it. So ultimately you want the R and the E to go down and the C and the O to go up. You want inverse relationships between your control and your origin and then your reach and how long you'll have to endure it.
And this was the success overcoming adversity.
But yes,
Yeah,
it's about
a success indicator.
yes.
Yeah.
It's all about overcoming adversity, and so that's exactly right. It's a success indicator, and so I was really like, oh my gosh, we have to come on and talk about this because
You're on an acronym kick.
It's an acronym, right? And then it's core. It's
Yeah.
core, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's great.
you have a turbulent history.
That's nice.
It's diplomatic, right? It's diplomatic. We call it turbulent. Jail for how many years?
46 months.
So almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Went to jail on a. You're not a felon anymore, though.
Oh yeah.
You're still a
Oh
felon.
yeah.
Okay.
Multiple felonies actually.
Okay.
I had a state case pending for a weapons charge prior to that. While I was fighting that, I was out on bond on that when I got picked up by the feds. So I actually had. So the federal case was the big case that kind of most people that know me know, because that's ultimately where I went, was federal prison. But I had a 10-year concurrent state charge running. So I actually technically did federal and state time. I just did it in the federal institution because they ran a concurrent. And in the,
Would you rather be in a federal institution? Yes.
like,
I mean, if you had to pick.
that's like saying you want to get punched in the face or in the belly.
Right.
I kind of will. Yeah. That depends on where you're at. Yeah, for sure.
And this is for possession,
Well,
or was it for?
conspiracy to distribute weed, cocaine, and ecstasy? And so the state charge was a bad deal with an ex-girlfriend of mine that I had gotten into it with a guy, and not many people know about that charge. That was actually way out of character for me, because I had a gun and put this pistol in this kid's mouth. Yeah, and I'm on. So ultimately, I tell you what, the part of the story a lot of people don't know is that is which I don't know if you call it a blessing, but that is what. How do you prepare yourself to kiss your family goodbye and go to prison for 4 years? You can't. They have to just take you, and you got to just do the time, right? So when that happened, when I got took, I went to arraignment, and then went to the bond hearing. At the bond hearing, the federal prosecutor played the 911 tape from my state charge of me yelling that I told this guy that I was going to blow his brains out. Say one word, give me a reason, I'll blow you back your head. Acting like this thug gangster who, was way out of character for me. I don't think I could ever shoot. I can't even go hunting.
I can't either. I can't hunt.
I've never hunted in my life.
Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I could shoot people before I could a deer, but the truth is I couldn't. I couldn't hurt anybody mortally like that.
Right.
But I was enraged, and so that they played that, and so they said that I was a threat to society, so they revoked any bond and kept me retained. So that's.
So you thought you were going home?
I thought I was going home on bond. Dad's there. I got bondsmen. I'm ready to get bonded out at the bond hearing. They denied and revoked my bond.
I took you to jail right away.
I was already in jail from when I got picked up.
Got it.
And so a couple days later, a week later, whatever, you go through the arraignments and all the process, and then usually you get arraigned, they read your charges, then you have a bail hearing, and they set your bail, and you get out. You fight your case from the street, right, or whatever. So I fought my case all the whole time for jail.
So you're in jail. You think when you go to this bond hearing, they're going to be able to post bail. You're going to go home and fight your case from the street. They tell you it's 9 yards in your ass. You're not going anywhere. And they say, we're revoking the bond, and they throw you back in jail. Then you find out that you're found guilty of the charges, or you plead guilty.
Plead guilty.
You pled guilty, and so you just never got out.
Never got out. So the good news with that is all the time's running the entire time. They go back to the day they got you, and all your time runs from that day.
Okay.
So that's why I sing a blessing. You can never prepare yourself to go away for that period of time. If you had to go away for 120 days or something like that, you probably could. But to prepare yourself to go away for 46 months. So I had 14 months of it knocked out by the time we got the case on. So
Man, that's a long time.
it is a long time. You think, you look back at your life. We're 40 in our mid 40s now. What's 3 years? It's not a lot of time.
How did they pass? They wiretaps?
All kind of informants, wiretaps. Yeah, you did a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure.
Surveillance, undercover surveillance too. They're one of the guys that picks me up. He said, "You recognize me?" He said, "No." He said, "I had a beer with you at Kahouli's."
No, he didn't.
Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah. He said,
Did he buy it?
He said, in fact, I think you bought it.
Unbelievable. Just rubbing it in.
Oh yeah. Well,
Jack
here,
off.
here, when they first picked me up, we get on the elevator.
Where'd they pick you up at?
At my house, or where I was staying, with the girl that I was still with. And we're on the elevator in the federal building, and we're going up in the elevator, and I got no shirt on. They got me out. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. They got me out of bed. You know, I'm up all night partying, so 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm sleeping. They get me out of bed. I'm the only one home. The girl's gone, so I'm in my shorts. That's it. I got no shorts and flip flops. So I got no t-shirt on, nothing. When they take me on federal building, we're going up. You know, I got my name tattooed on my back. Got these agents behind me. They go, "Well, I think we got the right guy." I look back over my shoulder. You guys got jokes, huh? All right. Yeah.
At the time, you're probably mad.
Yeah, I was a little blessing in disguise. Yeah.
So you do your 4 years
Yeah.
and you get out, okay? And then how long were you using while you were in jail?
Maybe once or twice. Drinking a little bit. You know, we got a bowl of some meth in there once. This old dude had some. I did some meth in jail. I never got. You know, the big thing in jail was weed and heroin, and I just, for whatever reason, never did. You know, I'd always joked that I was like an honorable drug addict because I never shot anything up. You know, I just had a problem with it because you see on the streets, all the people who were shot up just never really looked good.
And they never look the same.
Yeah. And I did you ever mess with that? Did you
No.
ever do any needles? Yeah, I didn't either. So that was the big thing in there. These guys would shoot up heroin.
You just got lucky to go to jail before it transitioned to that, in my opinion.
I would have never gone that time, bro. I would the reason why my addiction got as far out of hand as it did was because it was pharmaceutical.
Accessibility.
Yeah, it was the cleanness of
Yeah.
pharmaceutical opioids was
You weren't doing heroin at all?
no,
Yeah.
it was only OxyContin, and that was kind of where I began it for me, But I mean, it's equivalent.
No, 100%. Yeah, that's out of book.
Yeah. No, I never went to, and I don't think that the majority of the heroin or fentanyl, for that matter, was on the streets at that point because people would just use Oxy.
Yeah, right.
So, and that was in the height of the epidemic. So everybody just pretty much had to legalize heroin floating out of the streets. So that's very much sought out. You wanted to seek it out,
Well, there was people mainlining Oxy.
Oh,
Yeah, I know for sure.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weren't they just like cooking it down, or maybe
No, you just at the time they didn't have they weren't aware that people were just putting them in water. It's just basically sterile water, and maybe just melt them down in sterile water, let them dissolve and suck up the bacterial stagnant water or the sterilized water, and then just eject that. So it was really just, it wasn't like you had to put a spoon to it. But now, again, I never shot up. That was not my thing. But that's how other addicts were using it. They were, just putting it in water, sterilized water, and then they would just inject that.
So how long are you out of jail before you start using again?
Using probably a little while. I drank, in the halfway house. I don't think I ever really stopped going out. I got while I was on paper, I had to do random UAs, right? Well, so I'm flying straight on paper, right? I've heard horror stories. I didn't want nothing to do with this, so I fly straight on paper. And
How long were you on paper?
for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah. So
Color code?
well, yes. So here's the deal. So for the first couple, I say I flew straight on paper. I flew straight on paper halfway through. First part of it, I was playing with fire. I was really playing with fire because I was under the notion that 3 days cocaine could get out of your system. So every now and again on Friday, I would hit a buck because I noticed that they wouldn't call your number or your color or whatever from what I heard. And so about a year and a half, maybe 14, 15 months goes by, and just because I don't want to be in trouble by my BO for missing a piss test, and I had not had one ever for like first 14 months. So I finally went to him. I said, hey, I just want to make sure that I'm not in any trouble. I've never ever dropped a UA, and I don't know how this works. Is that normal? He says, you have never done a UA? I said, no, not one. And so he looks it up in the system. He calls me back. He says, this is my fault. I never actually put you in the system and registered you for the random number generator. And so, damn it.
Yeah.
But then they start popping me. But so then they started coming. It's almost like they had makeup. They're coming frequently. So I laid low for a while, and did, I would drink, and that was part of my supervision. Drinking, it was the good tester for drugs. So.
How old were you when you went to jail?
22.
Got out at 26.
26, yeah.
Okay. And then you fly straight for the most part.
Straight-ish.
Straight-ish.
Yeah.
For the most
Our
part.
parties. I had a good job. I was working. I was back in the car business. Wasn't a purely weekend warrior. Maybe a Friday night. 'Cause I had to work Saturday. A little like Friday night. Make it home at a decent hour. Maybe a little hungover or nothing. Saturday night would pour on. I'd get pretty drunk. Sleep the day Saturday, Sunday. I'd go back home, or go back to work on Monday. Right. So that was kind of the extent of it for several years. And then once I got off paper, kind of started partying hard again. Got back into doing blow, and I didn't really start messing with meth again for a while. And I don't even remember how or why I did, or how it even happened. But I did, and I remember how much cleaner of a high it was, because you're with cocaine, all that ether base, just gunked up, and it just head hurts, and you remember all that.
Just neck, head,
just terrible. And you got, your just face is just clogged, for days. So the meth, you did such smaller increments. The bumps were so much smaller, and there wasn't all the congestion, that came with it.
I mean, even
lasts longer, so you're not having to do as much. You're not chasing the size. So I kind of switched just to do something different for a while, almost in my mind to because I was doing a lot of cocaine. I started to take a lot, and then it got to where I would get meth, and I would get an 8-ball of meth that would last me a couple of months, because I'm just doing a little peep on
8 ball of cocaine lasts you an evening.
An evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, at best.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
You get a couple, you guys with me.
You're going to get bored.
You only got,
Yeah.
you only got 1 8-ball.
You're going to get bored. And then, and then the congestion, like, you may do blow on Friday or Saturday night, and then, in the middle of the day on Monday, just kind of, and then fucking, holy shit, where the hell did that thing be? Some big ass ball that's been stuck in your fucking nostril, for 2 days.
Swallowing like that. This is
Oh.
So it's like, hey.
Next thing you know, you're numb in your throat and you're geeked out again.
You're calling your guy.
Yeah, chewing on your ear. You're like,
I'm gonna get a drink first of all, and then I need to call my guy.
like it was inadvertent.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it started out as that, and then I remembered, and I got I don't remember like the day or when it happened, but I remember because I smoked it when I was 17. It got really addicted to it, so it scared me. Meth in general scared me. Well, I was older. I had a good job. I had I felt much more responsible.
Yeah.
This time, right? And so I attempted again, and I was good for a while. Well, then that slow fade, that's the devil's work, right?
Sin's always going to fascinate before it assassinates.
Exactly. That's crazy. Yeah. So it's the slow fade, and then with me, as you guys know me as well as you do, one of the things that I am well known for is my compassion. I'm a very compassionate person. I'm altruistic. I just care. I care for people. I care. And the further I got into that addiction, that was the part of my brain that just completely eroded. I gave no cares about anything.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, right? Well, but I also spent a lot of, I can attribute getting you clean, but I also took part in
Going down the hill.
yes, crawling down the hill. The only difference was I just didn't have that chemical makeup to where it grabbed me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, here, did I do it more than I should have? Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it more than you should.
Well,
right?
the reality of what you were doing versus what he was doing is, it's really difficult to do cocaine on a regular basis because of the nasal congestion and because it doesn't last as long.
I mean, if you do blow, like for me personally, if I did blow for an evening, I would get to the point where if I tried to snort a line, it physically wouldn't go up.
Correct. So I'm smoking it again. I'm back into smoking it, which that's a never-ending
Yeah.
high. I mean, you will never ever be clogged up. You know what I mean? It's just
People won't smell it.
people won't smell it. You can do it. Yeah, you're not sniffling and snorting. You can hide it at a very high level. I'm a high functioning addict on top of it. So, and out traveling all over the country with it, you know, I've got a perfect stash in the suitcase, and you know, so I'm going out of town. I'm consulting car dealers after coming out of the rental car, ripping a big bowl. You know, I'm telling these guys, these multi-million-dollar car operators, how to run their business better. You're right. Well, I'm you know, 3 sheets to win.
Right.
High, right.
Well, and that's the big thing that I try to make young kids understand. It's like, look, you're not going to know till it's too late, right? Unfortunately, there's no test. I mean, you can have an idea if you have a genetic predisposition to addiction based on family history, like mom might have been an addict, dad might have been an addict, and you can trace it, right? But even then, you just don't know until it's too late. I talked to a kid. He actually spoke at the poker tournament. He was an alumni of one of the Oxford houses, and he said, once I took a hit of meth, that's all I wanted to do was smoke meth. That's it. That's all he wanted to do.
Too.
You know, and so I remember, I won't say who I was with, but I was over a friend of mine's house, and we go into the closet, and I do what I think is a line of cocaine, and I'm like, that tasted weird. I'm like, the fuck is that? And he's like, well, that's meth. I'm like, I genuinely didn't like it. No, I mean, if I was to pick something, I'll pick cocaine over methamphetamine.
You never smoked it though.
Never smoked.
It's a different.
Well, I smoked a Primo one time.
Yeah, that's not it.
Didn't like it at all because I didn't know whether I wanted to lay down or run a mile. And so I'm like, who wants to do this? I couldn't wait for it to go away. You know, and so I'm just like, this is awful. But anyway, I did a line of meth, and I'm just like, I didn't really like this at all, and I never did it again. You know, and so I was just one of them fortunate people who just, and even cocaine, like when my wife gave me the ultimatum, like, you're either leaving or you're not doing this anymore. I stopped. I didn't have any withdrawals. I didn't have to go to rehab. I was done. I stopped. It was over. And so that was it. And
Yeah.
you know, but there's a lot of guys that aren't fortunate enough to do that. And to my point, you don't know which one you're going to be. Because I know guys that threw their whole entire lives away over the shit. Gorgeous wives, beautiful kids, and they said, here, fuck everything. I don't care. I want to do this.
Yeah, it can grab you like that, man. I listen. Obviously, God, that's grabbing a hold of me that night in the hotel room, and just hearing Dominique and Agnello on that record or that camera that night. That's all I needed.
Right, but do you know how many people out there probably
Did something like that,
and it didn't work,
and it didn't work.
and it doesn't make them go straight.
So you know that, because and as the years have gone on, and I hear that over and over again, man, you know, there's a lot of people don't make it out, and I think I don't know if I told you guys the last one, my very, very best friend, like one of my dearest friends, and of all the best friends that I've had over the years, he was one of the ones I was like absolutely closest with, and You know, he called his wife on her voicemail. He blew his head on her voicemail, and I got him into doing meth. And when he got off, his mental illness just was too overwhelming for him, and watching me just accelerate in life after I got off, and he was still struggling after he got off. You know, it's like how do you get to quit? He quit before me. How do you get to quit? And your life goes like this. I quit. I feel like I'm down worse, and he ends up getting into a standoff with the police, and ends up killed himself on her voicemail. Just devastating. Absolutely devastating. Hey, look, why not me? Why did I?
Survivor's remorse. That's what you got.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm just thinking, why did God spare me? So that,
Well,
I know that I have a purpose. It's all that I know with my spirituality and my religion and everything I know in Christianity and all the biblical truth. I have an absolute purpose, and it's a great one, because what I was spared from was pretty deep and dark.
No doubt.
So if God would help me and spare me and let me overcome something that bad, then He has something that good.
Well,
in store.
and we can. The real question is, it's like, if you indicate that God spared you, by default you're saying that God caused him to do what he did.
No, I don't. No.
Because that, I don't believe that that's the case.
Yeah, no.
Not, there's a difference between cause and allow. He did allow it.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue that. He didn't cause it, but he certainly allowed it. And that's kind of the catch-22 that believers,
I believe in those
find
cases.
themselves in.
I believe in those cases that, biblically, I don't know the exact scriptural reference, but He cares for the sick, right? So I don't think that my friend is going to be held to the same standard for suicide that somebody else.
I don't think anybody does. Do you know why? I think there's always something missing.
A mental illness.
There's three things. Even if you look at the Catholic Church, there's three things necessary for something to be considered a mortal sin, and one of them is called sufficient reflection. And you cannot find a suicide case where there is sufficient reflection.
What's that? What's that mean?
It means you're reflecting on what you're doing prior to doing it.
Got it. Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And so
Okay.
more often than not, that guy probably said, here, fuck this, boom.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? There was no sufficient reflection, as in most suicide cases. And so,
Very few suicides I've ever ran have had a letter.
right, because there isn't sufficient reflection. It's just like, fuck this, I'm done. And then they do whatever they do, right? However they choose to end their life. And so the sufficient reflection isn't there anymore. And so now the mortal sin is the best.
That's right.
And so, Matt,
That's what I
does that mean that they're not going to have some hell to pay? No pun intended. No, they're going to have to meet their maker and explain themselves. But
work through it.
I don't know. I mean, you talk about, look, the problem here is we can't wrap our minds around grace. I don't think it's possible for us to really, really understand it, right? I mean, we do have
not on a divine level.
no, because everything in the world is performance based. If you do this, you get this. If you do that, you get this. If you play this good, you get this position. You perform this good, you make this amount of money. And then you take that earthly concept of the quid pro quo and you try to apply it to God's grace. And then the next thing you know, you're on this hamster wheel trying to earn it.
And also,
and you can't.
I think a lot of people who don't know that they realize that they subscribe to a prosperity gospel think that, well, now that I'm saved, this and this should happen, and that's not the case.
No, dude.
No, a matter of
A
fact,
lot of times things get a lot harder.
well, because now you're a threat.
Yeah, in fact, they do.
Now you're a threat. I mean, a lot of times the devil will leave you alone if you ain't doing shit.
That's right.
As soon as you're a threat, then he's gonna attack. And he has all kinds of ways that he could do that.
Use kids.
That's in fact that's what he wants. He wants the marriage, because by affecting the marriage, he by default affects the kids. So the marriage is always going to be under attack.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's no question. The marriage is perpetually, and there's all kinds of ways. And a lot of times they'll use the kids. Here, I'll tell you what they'll use: youth sports. No, I'm not kidding you. Here, my wife, she called me today. She's like, I know you already said this, but there's a qualifier in San Antonio on Easter Sunday. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, out.
I'm like, I'm not, I told you I'm not doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
And then she wanted to make the argument. She's like, well, you watch football on Easter or on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I said, I'll tell you what. When Gianna is making $10 million a year playing volleyball, I won't say shit about playing on Easter Sunday.
Hey, and
I mean,
Because then she could
Yeah.
use she could glorify God with.
I won't say shit.
hey, and we the object the deal with that is we are home together in our home on Easter Sunday, watching whatever's on. That's up to their family. If they want to play, football on Easter Sunday. That's their problem.
Here.
They ain't playing sports on Easter Sunday. Not going to the game.
Here, I told her I will not do it. Here's my frustration. Okay, there's a qualifier in Chicago, Dallas, San Antonio, Pittsburgh. They'll have 4,000 players per qualifier. And this is just one sport. Okay, it's like I told her, I'm like, it's the resurrection. I'm like, I mean, how does nobody else understand the magnitude of this?
Yeah, right.
I mean, you don't play youth sports on Christmas on his birth. Nobody would do that, but on the resurrection, it's like we don't understand. How are we not understanding the magnitude of this? I told her, I said, listen, there is 6 holidays. Okay, our family never sits down and eats together. Never. We never have time. You know why? Youth sports. We never have time to sit down and eat. We sat down when we were kids every night and ate dinner.
Yeah, so yeah, that for one, and definitely on Sundays.
I tell you what,
house.
that kitchen table, if you got rid of it, we wouldn't notice it. And that's a shame.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's a shame.
Same to us.
And so I'm like, no. She goes, well, here, last year we still went to church. Yeah, but we didn't eat together. We didn't sit down as a family. We got up, we went here, we went there. We didn't know what time the game was going to get done because it's all predicated on how well you do. And no, just not doing it. I mean, I said I don't
stand united on this one.
I said I 100. They can go play. Don't not do it because we're not going to be there.
Right.
Go play, but I'm not doing it. I said here. Now what? What if, here we go out of town? What if Frankie has a game the Saturday before Christmas, or not Christmas, but Easter? He may have a basketball game, so now we can't go, and now the family isn't even together on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, I'm like,
Wait until legalized gambling gets here in Missouri. You're gonna see.
Oh, you mean sports betting?
You're gonna see Sundays for some people. First of all, some people are gonna absolutely destroy their lives doing it.
You'll have separation of classes. There'll be no more middle class. There'll be the idiots that gamble who will be busted, and then there's going to be the ones that don't gamble that have money.
Right. Well, and it's kind of an attack on the youth because the youth, don't have their they don't have their finances in order already. It's already hard enough to be young.
I don't have my finances in order. I'm 46 years old. Here, listen to me. Gambling, and I don't gamble. Hold on. I don't have any bad habits. I don't drink. I don't gamble. I don't do drugs. I don't do nothing. Here, gambling may be the dumbest.
Fool's gold.
The dumbest habit that anyone can ever have. There is block-long casinos in Las Vegas. Block-long casinos with marble floors. Okay, I mean, are you kidding me?
Millions of square feet.
Yeah.
And floors.
And then your buddy makes the comment, "Oh, I got a room comped." No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You paid for that in one way or another.
You not only do you not have the room comped, but you probably paid triple that I'm gonna pay.
At least.
Yeah,
At least.
and I'm like, guys, do you not see this? How do you not? I mean, no. That is not a
There's no dopamine for me in that.
None.
I'm the opposite. I get, I play when we're in Vegas and we're just because, like when in Rome, right? You're in Las Vegas, you play. But I do the same thing every time I go play. I lose a couple $100 and I get irritated.
Yeah.
I don't even get irritated anymore. I only play like, oh, there's a dinner reservation at 7:30 and we're in the casino and it's 7 o'clock. Okay, let me go figure something I could go do. But I'll tell you right now, I already know what I'm doing. I'm gonna cash in. Okay. Now, however much that is, I'm gonna try to 5 times it or I'm gonna blow it. And I'm gonna do it in about 8 minutes. Swear to God.
Yeah.
I mean, I already know. Like here, if I cash in for 100, I'm going to get it to 500. Or I'm going to blow it, and I'm going to do it in about 8 minutes.
The reality of it is 5x is not even good enough for me. When it comes, if I was gambling, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play everything I can until they call my name. Whatever I put, so if it's 500, I put 500 in. I'm playing it either until it's gone or until they call my name. That's it.
Here, think about this.
Yeah, I can't. I think that's the biggest piece for me why I can't really get with gambling is because, where we're at in our lives is in order for it to the win to be significant to do anything for me that gets me excited.
It's got to be 6 figures.
The risk is way beyond my stretch of even thinking about it.
Well, here, think about this. Okay, so for you to feel it, for it to make a change in your lifestyle, I mean, really, honestly, 6 figures ain't doing it.
Well, it would
That'll help. It'll buy you 3 or 4 months.
It would help. It would, like, our situation with the Met Spas. We're trying to build a building. It would put a nice little. It would take a little bit of stress off something like. But the risk that you'd have to put up to get there. I'm out. At the time I would have to invest to get there because I wouldn't be willing to risk enough to get there fast enough. It's just absolutely out. The only way. That's why I like to play slot machines because
Then you can hit a lick.
Then you can hit a lick just for fun.
Because if you go down a blackjack table and you have a fantastic night, you're going to win 15, 20,000. That's a fantastic night.
And that's if you're betting $300-$400 hands, and I won't do that. I don't have the tolerance for it.
You don't have the risk tolerance.
I don't have the risk tolerance and the mental, like the anguish to do it.
Yeah.
I want to punch the dealer if he took $500 off in front of me.
Yeah.
So when I get 500 into a slot machine, I look at it as this is $500 worth of entertainment. For as long as it lasts, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I can play 500 slot machine because if you get a good one that pays right, you could an hour or two. You can play.
It's entertainment. But at the end of the day, you can't be like, I gotta get it, I gotta have it. I gotta get a win.
Now, listen. When I was strung out, and I was in front, the slot machines were enamoring, right?
Right.
They were great.
Yeah.
Tweaking on those things, and you're watching it.
Well, when you're
hit, bang, 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 and it's off by one, like it's almost there. It's getting loose. It's warming up.
I remember times where I was on drugs and alcohol, gambling, and I would feel like there was something on the inside screaming, "Help!"
Let me tell you a story one time.
Literally.
This is the honest to God's truth. I'm in Joplin at the that big casino right off the highway right there, and I stop on the way home. This is when I was going back to Fort Oklahoma. I stop on the way home and I hit a casino, and I end up on a high risk, the high roller slots. I end up hitting it for about $4,000 really quick, right? I said, well, let me get out of here. Mm-hmm. So as I'm walking, I'm throwing hundreds of machines and I'm hitting them on the way out, right? And this one catches, and I could tell it's getting ready to hit, right? I'm putting 100 in. I'm doing 100 a spin.
Oh shit.
100 spin, and I'm doing it. And I remember I'm doing it, and I'm looking around, and I almost screamed help. I did. I was so afraid that they were gonna find my meth, my guns, I was paralyzed because I couldn't stop. I was doing this going, I have to just.
I did it on Bodog. I put $500 on a Bodog account, played blackjack, brought it up to 10,000, blew it all back, and then maxed out the amount that I could put in there. And then I called Tommy. I said, Tommy, give me your bank account number. He gives it to me, and I maxed out his.
Oh,
I blew 16,000 on a fifth of vodka and a gram of blow. I was like, oh, it's fucking miserable right now. It's fucking miserable.
I built an account up on internet gambling up to $40,000. I was
Real money?
a real month. Okay, and then one day I get geeked out, and I got Chili there with me.
I got a chilly story.
I lost $40,000 plus another 10 in about 3 hours.
And it didn't faze him at all.
No, it's my money.
No, but even if it was his.
She wouldn't care.
Here, me and him were partners one time, and we were sitting there playing, and I build it up 12, 15,000, and how dumb am I? Anybody listening to this that knows Chili is gonna say you deserved it. You're so fucking stupid. You deserve this. I get up. I said I got to go to the bathroom. I said, Chili, come play this hand. And you know the look. It's 4 a.m. You know his hair's everywhere, and we're both just fractured. And so I get up, I go to the bathroom, I walk out. He gets up from the computer. He goes, "We're busted." And he sat down and he started smoking a cigarette. And he looks at me and he goes, "What?" I said, "We're busted." He goes, "Fuck, I had pocket queens. What am I gonna do?" Blew all of it. Yeah, blew the whole deal. He goes, "You want me to go put some money on the Visa?" I'm like, I was deflated at that point.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's no way we're winning any of that.
Yeah.
We have to live the. I could
That blew my sack.
give me something to go to sleep now. Give me something to go to sleep now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's how that went. Okay. So let's talk about this. So here, so you eventually you tiptoe into the water, but you eventually end up cannonballing, and you find yourself addicted to cocaine and methamphetamine.
Just meth, really.
It was really,
Yeah, I got rid of cocaine.
and this is already after 4 years.
In the drug addict's mind, it's like, I don't do coke.
Yeah, right. Yeah, ew.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's just so my drug.
I do that. It's weighed up.
Flavor. Nobody's tells me. Can smoke it.
Lasts longer.
Yeah.
So I used to joke about that too. That's why I used to have so much meth on me at once, because I was way too classy to go to a meth house every couple of days.
Yeah, right. Right.
I was only gonna go, once a month or
Right.
so I buy a bunch at a time.
Right. Right.
I was above that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't hang out with these people. This is.
Here, you want to know what's funny? I remember I won't say who I was with, but I got off work at Aqua, and there was a bar down at the River Market. At the time it was called Oldham. And they have an after party. And so we get fucking, in Oldham, if you remember, like, that's all they did was have water and juice, because it's all everybody was doing was ecstasy, coke, Special K, whatever you could get your hands on. That's what the type of deal it was. I leave this Oldham at 9 a.m. and we go to get a suite at this hotel.
The storage suites, probably.
I can't. You know what? You may be right. Who can remember? But I remember I'm sitting there, and there's a plate full of cocaine that's getting passed around the room. And there's some douchebag sitting there playing the guitar, and he thinks he sounds good, but he doesn't. You're right.
Yeah.
And there's another guy whose wife is getting passed around, and he knows and don't give a fuck. Okay? This is the type of people I'm with. And I'm like, I look at my buddy, and I said to him, we have nothing in common with these people other than cocaine. That is it. We are here with a guy, I'm whispering to him, we are here with a guy whose wife is getting fucked in the back room, and he knows about it. And this jack-off won't shut up with his fucking guitar. I said, "What are we doing?" And he looked at me, and he had this weird shade of gray. You know the look, right? The dehydrated, just weird shade of gray. And I'm like, and here, you know what's funny? The guy's wife was hot. If I thought my dick was gonna work, I probably would have taken a shot at her. I mean, full transparency, I probably would have. But I'm like, there's no way that's working. Okay, so she's useless to me. He's a jack off. This guy's got the guitar. There's a plate full of blow. I said, get me the fuck out of here.
At this point, you want to just do the Animal House thing. Jim Belushi grabs him hard,
Just-
something.
I mean, what the fuck? And so I said, get me out of here. And I went home at 10 in the morning and, went into a deep comatose like sleep.
I gotta be honest with you, I love getting birds chirp anymore, but gosh darn it.
After being up all night, is there anything worse?
That's when the anxiety, the first bird I would hear chirp is when the anxiety will set in.
Yeah, because you should be doing something productive,
Yeah.
and you can't. Now you're stuck. You got dry mouth. You're chewing on your cheek.
I'd go find the darkest room in the house and try and weather the storm for the next 12 hours till
Yeah.
the sun went back down.
Yeah, and then you go to sleep all night, and then the next day you'd still feel like
Yeah, like I would have been down here doing podcasts on one after the other.
I've got 45 podcasts. This is gonna be great.
Oh my God, terrible. So here we are, with this the stronger because of all that's really real and accessible and fun and addicting and such a draw. That lifestyle is such a draw. I always say all the time. People like now obviously would you do it all over again? Yeah. Probably every minute of it.
and then more.
Yeah, probably would. Knowing what I know now,
Well-
about who to get better shit from.
Well, what you do here, the problem is you can't do it nowadays because if you you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
You're gonna
question.
die.
So that's the other part of it. And the only thing I really regret, obviously, is all the hurt that anybody around me was caused. Right?
You don't matter what you did to yourself. You deserved it.
It deserved it, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the hurt. If I could go back, do it again, minus the hurting the other people, absolutely. So that what I'm going with is that life is fun. It's enamoring. It's fun. There's a lot going on. A lot of life experience. I mean, we travel all over the country, different cities, partying at every club, VIPs. I mean, the life of a rock star really for many, many, many years, and have a lot of pretty flying stories to talk about. And so what I'm afraid of is that people experiencing that, but not coming out of it like I did.
1,000%. That's to my point. You never know if you are that person that grabs you and doesn't let go.
It's a Russian roulette that I don't think anybody should
It's
play.
not only that, but it's Russian roulette with 2 bullets and 6 shooter.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Right.
you're talking 30. It's more than that because 42% of street drugs are laced with lethal doses of fentanyl. That's almost putting 3 bullets in a 6 shooter.
Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, you're
You got to be a fucking idiot.
Or you would be dead.
I'd be dead.
100%.
Yeah, if I was doing what I was doing,
My only saving grace in that is that I wasn't in any of the downer, in any of that. It was all uppers.
Here, when I was on the uppers and I wanted him to go away, I would have done anything to make him go away. Wouldn't have mattered what it was. Give it to me.
I didn't. I was on them for so long, up so many days consecutively. When I was done and ready to go to bed, I just quit. No, go to bed.
see that's my thing was not. It was the combination of Oxycontin and Adderall, both of them together, because I didn't want to go to sleep because I felt so good.
Oh,
So
man.
the other,
Oof.
that's why I would take Oxy and then take Adderall so I could maintain the ability to stay awake and enjoy
Enjoy the high.
the high.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's constantly this.
That's deadly.
It's my cocktail, but yeah, it was deadly. It was probably my feet heartbeat.
So this whole mission came about. Came about in a homework assignment that's seeing a psychologist, so performance coach, trying to get to the next level, and me being the addict that I am, and just do anything I do, I just overdo it, right? So we came up with all these list of character traits. Is how we came up with Stronger, but it started off with just listing out a bunch of character traits that I wanted to lead by. Being a in the business that I'm in, I'm over operations of 4 dealerships. It was 300 employees. Dominique's got her businesses, almost 4 locations, managing a lot, leading people. that's I want to get better at that, right? I definitely want to get better at that. And so that's one of the reasons I started seeing this performance coach, this psychologist. And he's the team doctor for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you saw what they just did. They won a championship, right? So, and it's all culture, leadership, and just those things. And so his methods are tried and true. So, one of our sessions, we've listed all the character traits that I wanted to lead by. Like, when you walk in, who you want to be, who you want to be known for, what are the traits that you want to stand out the most, right? So we wrote them all down. It says, okay, take those, come up with an acronym. That's your homework assignment. The next time we talk, have an acronym, with these character traits. And so I wrote them all down. I took a poll on Facebook. If you've seen me or know me or have any experience with me at all, regardless of what it is, one word that best describes me. So I get all these people to respond because I'm looking for a root word, an acronym, right? And solid was one that I really liked. I wrote that one down. Strong. I would say I like both of those words as a male, right? So I wrote them both down. I go to ChatGPT and I start positive character traits to start with an S. List them all. I write them all down. T, O. I was going through all the letters. I write them all down and I start whittling it down, and it's kind of leaning towards strong. So fast forward, I get the exercise done. I got it all down, but I'm stuck on strong because I got resilient and relentless from the R, and I couldn't figure out which one of those to get rid of. Those are both very, very outstanding character traits, right? And I think I'm both, and I'm caught up. Do they kind of mean the same thing or not? Can I get rid of one? So I talked to the doc. Hey doc, here's what I got. This is where I'm at. They said, well, here, I got an idea, because I told them I didn't want to get rid of one of those R's. And I don't want to double use it. Yeah. So he says, here, you're missing. I can't remember what the word was, but he said you're missing something for this word. You could use encouraging, do an E, and then use the other R and make your research knowledge stronger. It's great. It's a great idea. So they didn't have to lose the other R, right? So that's how it was born. Well, so I'm trying to memorize it, and I'm starting to have some fun with it. He also told me, he said, on your social media stuff, because I do the Tony Cardello, the lives and stuff. I like to promote, and I'm pretty good with the marketing stuff. And so he said, hey, the other deal. One of my other things was I told him when we first got together, one of the things that I wanted to do was to expand my influence and do more, ministry, whatever. I wanted to impact more people. I wanted my life to be more meaningful. You know what I mean? And so he said, hey, why don't you, he said, when we talk, you always have some really good things to say. One of my high character traits that he did on my personality profile, my psychology profile, is altruism. Mine scored very high altruistic. So he said, why don't you, when you think about it, you do one of your videos, just post something nice, something motivational or whatever, right? And so I thought, okay, well then I got this strong deal. Well, maybe I could tie that in, right? And so one night at 2:00 in the morning, I'm laying there and this is going through my head, this whole deal. So I get on GoDaddy and I start searching domain names. Of course, Stronger's not available, right? And so leadership, lead strong, lead stronger, the stronger man, I'm going through all of them. And finally, the stronger leader was available, and I liked it, right? And so, I look at it as, did I come up with the stronger leader? Well, kind of, but it wasn't. It was only because it was available, or was there a defined? It was available for me. You know what I mean? I kind of look at it all. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? None of those other things, because I think the stronger leader. And as I have adopted it and taken it on as mine, I feel like I couldn't have come up with a better name for a company that I would want to represent, with the stronger leader. And so the stronger leader houses the hashtag stronger movement, or is the originator, So that's kind of the.
So go through it. S is what?
Spiritual. T is trustworthy. R is resilient. O is open-minded. N is noble. G is genuine. E is encouraging. And R is relentless. And what's really cool is that S, being spiritual, the first letter of the word that starts the word, that's also the absolute most important component of it all.
Where?
If you don't have a spiritual foundation and a strong, solid spiritual foundation, and I'll go broad here, whoever your spiritual God,
Whatever it looks like.
whatever it looks like to
Yeah.
you, right?
Sure.
I know Christianity to be true for me, right? And I'm not here to argue that. I know it's true.
Right.
But
Right.
if it's not for someone else, that's okay. Still, the spiritual part of their being has to be intact. You have to, because the rest of it will crumble under any sort of immense pressure or tribulations. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
And then I think R being the last letter of the word, the other bookend, relentless. You have to, all of these things you have to relentlessly pursue in order for them to be of any substance. You know what I mean? You can't be trustworthy sometimes. You have to relentlessly be willing to tell the truth under any circumstance.
Well, and trustworthy isn't necessarily just your capacity and propensity to tell the truth. It's that they can trust you, that if they give you a task, you're going to do it. Dependable. There you go.
Dependable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the other night at the St. Pius deal. That was did you get to see it yet? Have you watched it?
What is it?
The speech.
I haven't watched it yet. You sent it to me and Bear, but I haven't had time to sit down and watch it.
So that's what I said about trustworthy. The example I gave was if Bear, being their coach, the most trustworthy person they have in their life, right? You guys both text the same person?
No.
I'm texting
each other. So, Bear, I said, here, guys, I told the kids as an example, and trustworthy doesn't mean right.
No. No.
It has nothing to do. Right and wrong is not an element here,
No.
right? Trustworthy is they're dependable, and you know that what they do, they operate with a high motive, right? With good motives and pure intentions. So I said, here, your coach, who you guys trust, right, makes a call, and you don't agree with the call, and you were right, the call sucked, it failed, right? Do you quit believing in this guy because of that? No, you don't, because all the other times he's dependable, he's trustworthy. So that's what a good leader has to understand. In order to be trusted, you don't have to always be right.
No, because part of being trusted is extreme ownership and accountability when you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we played against, we beat Maryville in game 3. Week 4, we go out and we lose to Chillicothe, a team that we typically would have probably beat by 30. And, at the end of the game, we go and watch film, and me and Bear, I remember, and James Reyes, we sat down and we were like, that's the absolute worst coaching we've ever done, ever. You know what I mean? I mean, we completely and totally, the scheme was awful. Everything we did was wrong. And it was the worst coaching we'd ever done ever.
Right.
And it's all you could do is go look at the boys. It's very, very difficult.
Sometimes you get out coached, but you're not going to get out prepared.
No, I don't think we got out prepared, but we certainly got out coached. And I don't even know that. I mean, we just, it was just, I don't think they did better than, we were just so bad.
Yeah.
It's not like we got caught playing checkers in a chess
You did
match.
worse than they did good.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so bad. And so it's very difficult, in my opinion, to, number one, lose a relationship and or lose someone's business, lose someone's trust if you just sit down and be like, I screwed up.
Bomb that one.
I mean, I just
Look,
screwed
here's
up.
where the dependability and trustworthiness comes in, and you start tying in the other letters of the resilience and then the relentless, because I messed up, but I'm gonna fix it. Here's what I'm gonna do to make it right.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's
Plan of correction.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when you're trustworthy, and then when you're resilient, you have the ability to say, "Hey, I'm wrong. I'm going to heal from it. Here's what I'm going to do." You got the relentless approach to get back in there and fix it.
And at the end of the day, like I always tell the sales reps, I'm like, guys, figure out a way to make it your fault. Never, ever, ever go in to a facility and speak to someone and start placing blame. Even if you're 100% in the clear, figure out a way to make it your fault.
Yeah, there's something you could do to fix something.
Yeah,
that
they don't.
control.
Here, I got to tell you, the first thing I'm always looking for is accountability. And if I don't see it, I don't want to do business with you. Period. Case closed. I don't want to do no business with you.
Yeah, I tell all the vendors that I have come in with me, I tell them all, listen, come in. I expect you guys to make a difference, provide a resource, but I also expect you to tell me if my baby's ugly on this end.
Sure.
What do I got to fix to make your product work?
Right.
Right. Don't just come in here, put your product in, and it doesn't fail, and then I fire you. You go off, and then you tell the next guy, yeah, well they fired us because they suck. You need to tell me we suck.
Right.
Well, I know that there's a human element that we got to operate the software. We got to operate the equipment that you give us.
Sure.
But if we're not operating right, you better tell me.
And I can't speak to the fact that the first purchase that I made through you, there was a minor hiccup, and we don't even need to elaborate on the minor hiccup, but there was a minor hiccup, and at no point did I ever feel like the situation was not going to get resolved and be better on the other side. And that it's the guy going home.
We got an old car, did we? Did we just?
We had a whole new vehicle.
Yeah, we got. Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But it took time.
Yeah.
It took time. But you were resilient and
relentless.
And relentless. You went through and made sure that things.
Let me read the mission statement. ChatGPT is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. So I did the. I wanted to make the mission statement, so I typed it in there to put all the elements that I wanted, and ChatGPT spits it out, and of course I copy paste that, and then I start reworking it, but in my own right. But man, what a great resource and a great tool. I mean, because at the end of this, when you hear it, you would be very, you guys know me well enough to think that I could have written this entire thing, because there's enough of me in this. It just helps to. I'm not an English major.
The reality of AI and ChatGPT is you still have to ask it the right questions, and you still have to. So basically, you have to feed it the right information, and then you have to extract what's valuable from it.
Yeah.
So it just helps you process faster.
No question. So that's exactly right. Yeah. So because this would take. I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to this. It would have taken me a month. So here's the mission statement. So the Stronger Leader and the #Stronger movement are dedicated to empowering boys and men to become compassionate leaders in their homes, communities, and workplaces, while inspiring them to honor, protect, provide, and serve the women in our lives by modeling good men for our mothers, wives, daughters, and sisters. We believe in fostering a culture of spirituality, trustworthiness, and resilience. Being open-minded, noble, genuine, encouraging, and having a relentless approach to all things in life. A place where every individual is pushed to rise up to their God-given potential while supporting others to do the same. Through mentorship, education, and active engagement, we aim to motivate the leaders of today and tomorrow to cultivate positive change and build stronger, more connected communities of men. That's the mission statement.
Good stuff.
So, because some of that got changed and reworked once Tony Mike Jr. Decided that he wanted to kind of come along and be part of this, which I'll tell you the way that happened. So I started this deal, and I started off just talking about it on an initial video, like a TikTok video or a Facebook Live. I can't remember which one I did. And then I shortly went out of town for work, so I started each day so that I could have a lot of content day after day after day. So each day I did each letter. Spiritual, and I went all up into the next day. I did two, so I got 6, 7, 8 days or whatever letters there. Well, a couple days into it, Tony Jr.'s listening to me, and I could see, one of the kids, you could tell is paying attention, right? And he goes, I get done. He goes, "What are you doing, Dad?" I'll look at him, and I want to tell him I'm doing this for him. You know what I mean? I want to tell him I'm trying to be a good example for you. That's just, at the end of the day, that's partly what my motivation was, right? So I said, do you want to do this with me? He goes, well, what do I have to do? I said, I don't really know what I have to do yet. I said, I don't know. Let's figure it out together. Let's do it together. I started explaining it to him. I said, I think that as men, we need to be good men. And we had to have an issue statement set up there. And I said, we need to be good men, and it starts with, you being respectful of mom and her sisters, and, me being opposite respectful to mom and take care of her. I think we got to, just be a good leader and be strong and courageous, and that's it. And we'll see where it goes from there. He's like, sure, I'll do it. so yeah, the only thing I've had him do so far, because he's 10, he's still a little shy. We spoke at a Sertoma meeting. That was one of the very first little speaking gigs I got, and he went through the acronym, from which I thought was pretty good. It was about 10, 15 people in this little lunchroom, and he stood up there and went through the acronym, right? So that was good. He didn't really like it, but he did it, and that's part of this too. Is I want him to get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you start that at 10, what's it going to evolve into? You know what I mean?
Look,
Public speaking is some people's biggest fear.
Oh yeah.
that is not a fear of mine at all. I have no problem public speaking.
No, I neither, but
No.
but
So here, Frankie George hates it. Frankie George, we found out he kept acting like he was sick when he had to do a book report, an oral book report from the class, and he wouldn't go. He can't stand doing it.
it's one of those things. The easy, it gets easier the more you do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure, 100%.
So, like, if you were to say, Frank, I want you to go sit in front of these 20 people and read this, that would make me more nervous than if you said, Frank, I want you to go do an impromptu on X, Y, and Z in front of 2,000.
Yeah.
Because I can go up and talk fine.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't read very good. Well, because I'll end up reading the same line, and
You're educated though. You got an expensive education, a lot of research.
Chance Davis is a prepared mind, so in my world, that if I have to get it in front of people, I just like
Yeah.
I really.
Well, that's what I mean. If I'm speaking in front of 2,000 people on a topic I'm educated on,
Yeah, you'll go forever.
then it's easier than sitting in front of 20 people and reading something that I don't have any idea of. I'm just reading it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You know.
I think for me that's what this is. I'm learning more about this every day because I'm into it. It's something I'm already that I already do. I'm a leader, and so it's natural, right? I just kind of speak to my experiences. Some of what I speak on too, from the men accountability perspective, and that's what I tell people all the time. Listen, I'm going to hold you to an extreme high level accountability to be a man, not because I've arrived and I'm this man, right? Because I wasn't. I know exactly what it looks like to be a turd, to be a bad husband, to be an absent father, to be a drug addict, to be I was that person. You don't want to be that person. Behaviors you're starting to show, or the trajectory that you're on, it ain't good. Because I was on it.
And it's easy to sit there and like you said, you had tons of stories from your heyday, and some funny stories, and it's easy to sit here in retrospect and laugh. But part of the reason why it's so easy to sit here and laugh is because it's so difficult to verbalize the pain and anguish that stuff caused as well.
My wife, to this day, we've been together 20 years this year. It's been 20 years, and she'd have to listen to the last deal, but she's just, I just still can't believe, I can't wrap my head around that was your life.
Well, and look at The Wolf of Wall Street. Take that for example. That's a great example, because you could sit there and watch that movie, laugh your ass off, right? And at least I don't know that you're supposed to, but I mean, there's part.
You made 10,000. I'll go back shop money.
I mean, I can go on and on. It's a great movie, and you can absolutely laugh your ass off, but you forget that guy lost his wife, his kids, his job, his money, went to jail. Now, it's a great redemption story,
Right.
But that guy lost everything. I mean, come on with it. Do they get hurt easy? Because I'm going to launch one of these fuckers. He's talking about throwing the fucking midgets. I'm going to launch one of these fuckers. He said. Oh, man. I mean, what a great movie, but typical Scorsese movie. But anyway, you forget.
You do, yeah. You're right. If you don't laugh or cry, you probably
Could be, you know. But yeah, you hear he lost 2 wives, right?
Did he really?
Yeah, he got married. He got caught cheating on one. She dumped him. Then he married that gal, and she left him.
Yeah.
He loses all of his dough, goes to jail. He's a motivational speaker now. He makes tons of money speaking. Jordan Belfort. Yeah, makes tons of money speaking. I think he speaks to like professional athletes and things like that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he had a redemption.
Oh, it's a huge redemption. They don't go into that in the movie because that's not really what sells, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's
a limited market.
It's all the debauchery. You know, I mean, get the damn movie opens up.
The opening scene.
Doing a line of coke out of a broad's ass. What the fuck's going on? And then and the normal brain would be like, I'm not watching this, and I was like, wow, what's going on next? You know, I mean, I was just, you know, it's a great movie. I think, you know, don't watch it with your kids. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it with the kids.
Yeah.
My favorite, so.
Leonardo DiCaprio's great.
He crushed it.
And so did the other guy.
Another thing, Tucker Judge is Jonah Hill.
Is that his name?
Is it the guy from Superbad?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Was it Johnny Hill? Was it? I guess I didn't remember. I think I've only seen that one. So.
Oh.
And there's the guy that looks like Ross Strata.
Yeah.
He looks just like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his name, but God darn, he's in all kinds of movies. He looks just like Ross Strata.
It's it's Skyfall, I think. But they do glorify. They glorify.
Well, it's not any different than like here when we were talking with Tony Bettalucco about gangster movies, and it's like, okay, for whatever reason, you would always forget how they end, and they all end the exact same way. Everybody went to jail.
Jail or whacked.
Whack, jail, or snitched. Right? It's like, here, why on earth would you glorify that lifestyle?
I think that's probably why, for their own conscience, they put that, you know, at the end or whatever to not glorify it, to make themselves feel better, like they're showing you what's really in it. Is that what
I don't know. I mean, it's tough for any, you know, young kid because here, you know, back in
Here, I'll tell you, that was one of my most influential drug dealing movies. At one point I was dead set on somehow having a life like Scarface.
Oh yeah.
And
you forget that he got ventilated at the very end. I mean,
I was going to do all but that part. Seriously,
Not the hot tub. That's
that's how stupid I was.
Yeah.
That's the life I wanted at one point. And I think I remember at some point doing cocaine like that out of a pile of it, just because I could, and we had so much of it.
Right. Well, and here's the thing, okay? That anytime Fast Money's tracked now at 46 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's not something that's easily to deviate from, but you know, then you realize there's no fast money.
No.
There's
Easy come, easy go.
That's right. That's right. If it's easy come, it's going to be easy go. That's right, and it's not. And it's going to be short lived. There's no longevity. There's no legacy. There's no generational wealth. That doesn't happen from fast money. That happens from consistently doing little things right, even when no one's looking
For a long period.
for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And you guys that trade, red little trade, no pun of it. They've been here for a long time. Yes, they may make trades that make them generational wealth, or what most people would consider generational wealth, but they've been there for 15 years
And-
grinding it.
But here's the other thing.
Yeah, and they're taking the small wins of trading.
Yeah.
But people who trade for a living are hyper disciplined.
Yeah, right.
You have to.
Hyper disciplined. Otherwise, you're gambling.
Otherwise, you're on the gamble.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're gambling.
Yes.
And that's totally different.
It's totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, the majority of people out there that are trading, retail traders,
I'm a retail trader. I trade 3 cars every day.
Yeah, no,
I know.
uh,
But it's the same thing. We have a certain discipline. We have a threshold of what we
Yeah.
want to do to use car when we trade for it.
Yeah.
You know, we have to be disciplined because
Yeah.
that thing is.
Here, I know enough that here your risk top. Number one, it's like playing cards and playing every hand. If you do that, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to lose. So traders probably only trade about 70% of the time. The other 30%, the setup's not there, and so they don't do anything all day. Now they may be sitting there all day long, but they don't actually make a move all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, and so of the 70% of the time when they're actually making a quote unquote move, they got about good ones, real good ones, have about a 70% win rate. Okay, so 70% of the time you're trading, 70% of the time you're winning. So your risk tolerance is about 1 to 2% of the stack.
you should be quick to cut your losses.
It's about, yeah.
And when you got a winner, you back it up.
Yeah, and so you got figure if you got 100,000 in the stack, you're risking 1,000 to 2,000 a day. That's all you're going to lose, you know. But you're going to win 6 to 8
Right.
because you're not going to risk. If you're risking only 1 to 2, it's hard to win much more than
Right.
6 to 8,000,
Right.
right? So,
Now back on the gambling talk.
then you're back on the gambling, right? So that's I do know I've educated myself in that, but I don't trust myself, I guess.
Well, because you get to that point of that urge, like this isn't doing any good. I did more.
Right. And then your mind starts playing tricks. If you have ever had a gambling bug, you have no business trading. I mean, really, you don't.
And all you're doing is justify. That's kind of like being addicted to cocaine and just switching to meth.
Yeah.
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 It's cleaner.
It's right.
It's more professional.
Yeah. So it's like, come on, what are we doing here?
Right.
And that's why I tend to just now. Would I give somebody money and say, here, I'll partner with you, and you do it?
The right somebody.
The right somebody, right? You have to have it in the right hands, right? So, but if you put it in the wrong hands, you may as well just go play craps.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
You may as well just go play craps. So, what's the plan as we close this up? Where do you see the stronger leader going? I mean, I know you spoke at Pius. You've done it on 2 separate occasions
I
for.
just got invited to Lawson High School to
Okay.
give the same speech. So you're doing something similar.
Where did you? Where's that connection?
One of the guys that works for me, his son goes to Lawson. He's a football player at Lawson. He knows me, watched some of the videos, knows Simone from football, and he asked me. He says, "Hey, if I could get," because he wants his kid to hear the message. And he said, "Hey, I know that coach of Lawson. If I can get him to get you to do that thing, would you be willing to do that?" And I said, absolutely. That's where yeah. So he sent clips to the coach. The coach's like, yeah, absolutely. So he puts in a group text. He said, it's public school, obviously, so it's a little different pathway, right?
But you're in a conservative enough area that you probably get away with it.
Yeah. So
You get away with it there before you get away with it in Liberty.
Yeah, right. So I told him, I said, here, when you watch this, I'm not going to eliminate the spiritual side of it. I'm not going to eliminate telling that Christianity is my truth, but I don't have to. I don't have to go all in. It doesn't have to be about a religious speech.
Sure.
Because it's really not. The whole thing. And I want to make sure that this whole mission is centered around men, because I think that I have good to do with atheist men too. I think you can be.
That should be who you're targeting.
Well, partly, right? Because the spiritual component they may miss entirely or completely disagree with. And so there could be a little pushback there, but I can still, I'll make an exception for you. If you don't have that, the rest you still have to have. And what I want to do is open up the conversation. So I had a video, if you guys remember, I said, can you be a good husband, a good father, and a bad husband?
1,000%.
No.
No, you can't, because you're teaching them how to be a father.
That's right.
And so if you're a shitty father, you're giving them that example.
Husband.
Excuse me, but
Yes.
teaching them how to be a husband. Right, that's right.
So
No, you can't.
So my argument is, because I had women, and this is where the women part of my ministry comes in. I'm trying to empower women to hold us accountable. I have a woman chime in there and say, it's possible. I'm married to a man that is a great father. He's just not good to me. I said, so what you're telling me is you're okay with him teaching your children how to treat their wives?
Right.
Well, no. Okay. He don't get the great father
Right.
title.
No.
He can have great intentions. He could love his kids to death. He could but what he's not being is a great father. So in order to say you're a great father, you have to be one, right? You have to be a great husband.
You're right. You can't be one without the other, because ultimately it is my job to show my girls how they should be treated. And I have to do that by how I treat their mother. And at the end of the day, you aren't being a good mother if you stay with a man who's treating you like shit, because then you're telling your daughters and your son that it's okay to do this. And here, the bottom line is 9 out of 10 times they're going to get left. Now what?
Yeah, right.
Now you're part-time grandma because you wanted to sit there and stick around. And at the end, I'm not condoning divorce, but I am condoning you have to put your foot down and say, hey,
You work through it.
you have to do that.
You work through it.
You can't just sit there and say, oh, he's a good provider. Oh, he's a good father, so I'm going to let him treat me like shit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Right. And that's so those are the things. I'm going to be a little more bold. Especially our culture, the way we grew up. Keep your mouth shut, stay in your lane, mind your business, all that stuff. So here's it, and I'll probably still adhere to some of those principles, but not all of them. And here's what I mean. If I'm in public, and I see a guy, or overhear a guy talking terrible to his wife at Target, right? And I don't know the guy. He's not hurting her. He's not laying games on her. If that's up to her, she's not going to put him in his place to not talk to her that way. And I'm not going to say anything. But we're in the community here, right? Chances are we're going to be at an event, at a kid's party. Hey, come here. I want you to meet so-and-so. If I meet so-and-so, come here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know who you are.
Right.
The last time I saw you was at Target. The way you were talking to your wife was pretty disgusting. Just so you know. I don't know you and I don't know the whole story, but I'm just telling you what I observed. I am them start saying something. If the opportunity.
Because that's here. Listen, there's times where every male is guilty of it.
No question.
You're here, and especially, when I start to lose my shit, there's a lot of very conscious bad decisions that I make, and
Tone is probably the first one.
there you are.
What is?
Tone.
Oh, yeah. So listen to this. So back to me not having arrived. I'm not speaking from a pulpit in any of this stuff. In fact, I go back and watch my own videos in the third person, and I minister to myself sometimes. I honestly do. I absorb what I said. I'm really, really taking it because I believe what I'm saying, right? So I'm texting Dominique. She's down in Florida with you guys in the volleyball team, right? Number one, they're going to be there for 4 days. We're going to play 83 volleyball games, which mean nothing.
Right.
And I'm working, and she sends me a text. Can you get on the soccer deal, get the kids' soccer gear? Today's the last day, and I'm stuck in this place. I can't get reception. My internet ain't working. Absolutely. So I get on there, and I'm logging in, and I go to buy something, and it's out. Text her back, hey, the gray one, there's only a large, whatever, what do I do? And then takes her 5 minutes goes by. Just try the meter. Okay, so I got to log back in because I'm kicked out now. I got to log back in. I'm working. I'm trying to work, right? I'm right in the middle of a pretty busy day. So I log back in. The medium's not. That's out. Just text her back. The medium's out. What do I do? She's not responding. No. Text her back. Hey, listen, do me a favor. Hold your phone in your hand. stare at it for the next 5 minutes until me and you are done with this conversation.
Right.
I got to get this. If you could just talk to me for a few minutes, we'll get this done. Sorry, babe, I'm watching the game. One of 80 games that they're going to play.
Right.
I'm at work, right? So I'd go in, do it again. The next thing, it's out of stock. So I text her back, this one's out of stock. What do you want me to do? She doesn't respond. Steaming mad. I text her, WTF, I'm cussing in the text, right? And right before I hit send, I looked at it and I went, this is not who I am on these videos. This is the very thing that I am trying to tell men to stop doing to their wives.
Right.
And no one, not anyone on these videos that's watching all these, not you, not anyone but me and my wife would have known that I sent that text.
So, but you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror.
I got to be able to, so the high level of accountability
Yeah.
that this is giving me, it's making me a better person doing this mission. So this mission ain't just for, I haven't arrived, this mission's for me too.
Well, here, it's not any different than the pastor or the priest getting on the pulpit. 9 out of 10 times, they're talking to themselves. That sermon is ultimately probably derived because of something they're struggling with.
Yeah, right.
You know,
it helps. It helps to talk. But
Sure, it does.
They say that rehabilitation, some of the best form of rehabilitation is teaching or helping others.
Yeah.
Right, and so it is. I think I have found a strength in the outward ministry. I've found inward strength and inward account.
Here, I had to do. I did a video one time when Michelle and I left Vegas, and I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, because you're a physical therapist and you're helping people with their fitness journeys and you're doing these types of things, and you just spent 3 days eating everything that you shouldn't, drinking everything that you shouldn't, doing everything that you tell your clients not to do."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I let them know. You know what? I just spent 4 days doing everything I told you guys not to do. But here's how you bounce back from that.
Yeah, right.
Right? Because you're gonna do it.
Yeah, and most people abandon it right there. They quit. They throw the baby out with the bathwater. Turn their back on it.
And what they also are afraid to do is go to their trainer / coach and tell them what they did, because they're like, he's gonna get mad, he's gonna be ashamed, he's gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't do none of that shit. Trust me. Anything you've done, I've done it. Okay?
I'm still doing it.
And I'm going to do it again next time I go on vacation. So, you know what I mean? And so there has to just be, you have to be able to unashamed go to someone and have that relationship where you can just say, hey, listen, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be in your life.
Yeah, and everyone, Craig Rochelle says it all the time, and I love it. I've adopted it. Everyone loves a leader who's real, but not always right.
Right.
If you are just a stone cold, real human being, that I told Dominique, I've gotten way better at it, but I'm still not good at it. I told her that I think that sometimes my cussing, I even had a talk with my psychologist, the doctor that I see, he's a devout Christian as well. And I asked him, because sometimes I just think, an F-bomb in a certain context, when you're trying to deliver an assertive message, it just rings.
It's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different. And sometimes I do it calculated. I say the word until I catch myself in my head as I'm speaking, knowing I'm getting ready to say it, a little frustrated, and so I'll think not to, and then I'll think that, okay, if I could do this more controlled, less anger, I could say this, right? Because I really want to drive it inside. So I told my wife, I said, I think that a lot of people get behind me and relate and are drawn to me, be so real. I'm not this, I am a devout Christian. I will die on a hill, and I cuss like a sailor, right? And you can be both.
Here, listen.
And both. That's what. And people like, okay, wait, hold on. And Dane even said it. He's kind of shied away from the Christian because of the hypocrites. And he said, I've gotten to know a couple people, like you and another guy, and I see how you guys are consistently, and you're not perfect, but you own it, but you're consistent in your character. And that is drawing him back to Christianity, where he's actually, interested in again.
Here's the thing. Take my kids, for example. Guys, be quiet. No response. Do what they want to do. Guys, seriously, stop. Guys, shut the fuck up. Nothing. It's effective.
It is.
I'm not saying it's morally correct, but
Is it not though?
I don't want to make the argument that it is, because I don't know. Here, it is effective.
Here, I'll say this, and especially from hearing somebody who was trying to speak in a bio life, it was much easier relatable if they were speaking my language.
Correct, right? Yeah.
So, I mean,
And sometimes,
Yeah.
here,
Right. And you know who says that? David Goggins. He said that recently. He said, I cuss because this is who I am. This is the life I am. This is the, I love the same. I'm passionate. I'm driven. I'm all these things. Just because I cuss, that's just who I am. Now I came from a certain kind of people. This is the way I talk.
yeah.
That's who I am.
listen, I wish I've been very conscious since, because here there was one time I'll never forget, the kid's name was David Dieters. It might have been my very first year coaching. And I'm talking, I think, to myself, that I'm talking out loud at the sidelines, on the sidelines at a game, and I must have used the F word as a noun or an adjective or a verb.
A pronoun. Whatever.
Yeah, and he looked at me and he goes, "Man, coach, that's a lot of F bombs." And I was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Convicted. I was incredibly convicted.
Almost embarrassed, right?
But yeah, and so I bet since then, you could count on one hand how many times that the kids have heard me do it in anger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm very conscious about what I say, how I say it, and and Simone will even tell you on the sideline, I'm the calmest coach out there.
Really.
Which is very contrary to my character. It's incredibly contrary to my character. Yeah, no, swear, if you ask him, he'll tell you. If you call him and say, who is the calmest coach on your sideline, who doesn't yell back, doesn't get his feathers ruffled, don't say anything, because he'll eat my lunch on that headset. And I don't say I never bark back. Maybe a couple times I have. Very, very rarely. But calmest coach out there. And so, but in regular life it tends to flip.
Yeah. You say it up.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, so listen. I was I just had a call today with Dr. Wayne. So I had a failure last night. I've been on this kick lately with a leadership, obviously, and in my business, I'm trying to really, really develop people's skill set of being assertive and kind. Very, very. It's an art. It's very
Tough
hard.
balance.
Here, I have the issue of going from cool, skip assertive, and I'm furious.
Correct.
That's not good.
No. So I'm trying to get people to get comfortable having difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations. Do it more often because you'll get better at it, right? Mm-hmm. Run into the fire, have these difficult conversations, and when they happen, go there. But be kind. You don't have to be the jerk. Be kind, right? So Melania, have an issue with her last night. I pick her up, I get her in the car. I was assertive, and I wasn't kind at all. Yeah, and I asked him today. I said, because I had told him the context of it all, and he said, "Listen, good job. You did a good. You parents
Here,
well."
I'm going to tell you something. There are people out there who force you to be all truth and no grace because they can't pick up on it any other way. And those are the exact same people who are going to go to you and say, you may need to change your tone. You may need to watch how you say things. Yeah, and if you think I'm fucking talking about you, I probably am. So I'm getting aggravated about it right now. Because it's your own fault. Because you're not picking up on the nonverbals because you're maybe a little bit socially awkward.
Yeah.
You're not picking up on the nonverbals. You're not picking up on inflection and on tone. And so now all of a sudden, you got to be all truth and no grace. And then they're like, well, yeah, dummy, I tried to tell you 15 times a nice fucking way. But now you forced me to be a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
and honestly, I don't really care. And I gotta be honest, I do not really get along with people who just don't come right at you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come right at me, you know what? We're probably gonna get along. Don't beat around the bush with me. Just tell it like it is.
I'll tell you this. I really appreciate those who have the skill set to be assertive and kind. That really is a.
And the way.
All right, I'm thinking of a person. We don't get to say his or her name
Okay.
that you can't do it with.
I disagree.
Oh, bullshit.
I disagree.
No.
Because I know who you're thinking of, and I disagree. That you have there's a finesse way to be assertive and kind, and I think that you have to set the stage.
So here's how this could look, and so a lot of people think that the element has to be completely ruined. And here's what I'm. So I always tell people I have, and the way my personality lays out, and in my profiling, my psychological profile, is I'm fearless, right? I am assertive. I'm high A personality. I'm driven and all of that, right? And I'm fearless, and I will go in on a conversation. But if you were just to lay out in layman's terms, I will take you into an office and I'll shut the door and lay it on my desk and fully, completely up. You can push your to expose all of your organs. But I will do it such a way that I will stitch every one of those cuts back up, and I will put you back together. I'll, hug you, kiss you, love on you, and when you leave, you're gonna turn back at that door. You're gonna tell me thank you. I make a point of that. I make a point to where they understand the level. And that was a gruesome picture, depending on how deep the conversation is. But if it's a important enough conversation, I'll go all the way deep, and I'll expose every organ in your body, right? But I will also make sure that you understand why we went that surgically deep into your organs.
Right.
And I think that the I've saying that you're a surgeon. Surgeons are people who operate in a medical setting where they will and
Flay you up.
Yeah. But they'll also make sure that the environment's sanitary. They're also going to make sure the tools that they use.
That's a great analogy. I didn't look to thought that.
And I think that is kind of how I envision what you're doing is you're taking
with a
classes.
surgeon that's going in there to save a life.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between injury pain and post-surgical pain.
Right. Yeah,
It's two totally different pains. I've had a lot of them.
Yeah, and I continue a follow up after those messages. I check in, heart checks after those messages. Yeah. Because listen, the last thing that I want from anyone is to go home for them to deliver any message to their family about what happened to them that day in a negative tone.
Right.
I always tell everybody in an interview, listen, my goal would be for us to retire together. I hope that the atmosphere and the job does so well for you that we get to write out our days together. But if we don't, and you leave me, I want you to leave me better than the way I found you.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the reason why someone goes home and is distant to their wife, distant to their kids. You don't want to establish that culture because at the end of the day, you ain't making no money in that culture, and neither are they.
One of the best to date. I look forward to our family events that our company puts on. We have the holiday parties, and then once a year we get together in the middle of the year as well. So twice a year we get all company events together. The biggest compliment that I ever could get, and it happens every event, at least once, sometimes multiple, I'll get a spouse come up to me and say, thank you. Since my husband's been working for you, he's been so much better at home. He's been such a happier person. He's been, more present with our. I hear all sorts of them relating into the fact that they have a good, healthy work environment, that they're not drained when they come home. And I hear it at better husband, better father. I've heard different praise stories. That is the best compliment. Somebody saying, hey. I don't know that I've ever heard, and if I have, I don't even remember where they've said, "Hey, my husband's make more money working for you than anybody." I don't even remember it, because I don't get fulfilled out of that. When I hear a wife or a spouse or a significant other tell me that they're a better member of the house by working for us, man, how much more fulfillment do you want than that as a leader?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there's a difference between success and fulfillment. Tony Robbins goes through that. He's like, look, Robin Williams was the most successful actor ever hung himself
Yeah, right. Yeah.
because he wasn't fulfilled.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's plenty of people who are successful and not fulfilled.
So that is a big piece of those are all small elements of what I'm doing with this leadership tool, because of the purpose that comes from being a good man, the outward impact on your children, your wife, the people around you by being a good man, but what it does for you, the fulfillment as a person, the blessing is blessing upon blessing, right? What you give, or blessed to give than to receive, right? So when you are a man and you're pouring out, being just a great man in your society, in your homes, and their works, and all of that, man, those blessings, that the sense of fulfillment that comes from that is just powerful. It's next level, and it can't unless you live in it. Even if you just catch glimpses of it every now and again, and you really understand what's happening in your life. Unless you're in it and understand it, you don't really know what I'm talking about. And that's what I want. I try to convince guys. Like, I don't need you to be a better man, buddy. I don't care if your daughter ends up on pole. It makes me no difference. It's not going to affect me or my family or nothing. I don't want that to happen to you as a man. I don't want you to have to suffer that anguish, let alone that poor girl. I don't want her to be.
If your daughter ends up on the pole and you don't think it's an indictment on you, that's part of the problem.
That's you. It's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the problem.
It's the problem, you know. And I said.
Well, I have to retract. I have to correct you guys for a second, because the reason you chose to do drugs ain't your dad's fault, and it ain't my dad's fault.
Andrew, when you're talking about a daughter,
I'm just saying, Frank. I'm just saying. The reason why people should make choices is not always a direct reflection of the parent.
here, I'm going to
There
tell
are
you this right
instances where the individual has made choices, but it doesn't have anything to do with how the parent.
now. If my daughter ends up on the pole,
You're going to take that person.
That's
as
indictment.
you
I'm
should.
taking it as an
And
indictment
every
on
parent does. And our dad and mom asked at some point, what did we do wrong? But the reality of it is it's not always the case.
Well, you know, hold on. I can tell you, my mom asked me that very question in prison. She was like, well, we finally got to hold hands. I was at the big joint. First contact visit, she looked at me, you know, with this emptiness, hollowness in her eyes, and just drained, like she failed. As a mom, that she said, what did I do wrong? 'Cause my parents, they provide love. They're on paper and on record. You would think that I had no reason to do the things that I did, and I think there is an element of being too good of a parent.
I would say that.
you can give too much.
I would say that.
Every trouble I got into, all the little mischief I got into, I kept getting bailed out. I kept getting loved. I kept, my groundings were very, very sparse.
Yeah.
And I just the level of punishment for my early transgressions probably wasn't harsh enough.
I read that.
And so that would be the only indictment on my parents, is that and I give them credit for that they were too good, right? So I don't. And listen,
Everybody wants their kids to have better than they did.
that generation, they don't have access to the quick access to the level of education that we do for psychology and everything else. I mean, we could sit on.
It wasn't as evolved.
Listen, you could sit on TikTok for hours. If that's in your algorithm, psychology and leadership and parenting and all that, you could learn how to be a great parent in 5 to 10 hours scrolling on TikTok, more than they ever were shown in their entire life.
Right.
Right, because the culture they didn't care. They did what they were taught, and it's just generational, just shit. Nobody ever broke. Nobody was educated enough or had access to the education to break it, right?
Well, so I will say this too, though. The other side of that is you can learn how to be a shake bag girl in 10 hours too. So filter your information. Find
That's
out.
right.
But rapidly you're crawling down.
Yeah, it's all. I think you say all the time. There's numerous people that say, "I think you can, you think you can't." You're right. So you go looking for it, you're gonna find it.
Yeah,
whatever that is.
Yeah.
Now more than ever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right. There are resources out there that our parents didn't have.
Yeah.
And
That's why I don't hold any resentment.
No.
I know from a psychological, what little education I have from what I have learned and what I've experienced and what I know, parents splitting and divorcing, and a father and a mother not in the same home raising their kid together is impactful on the kid's development. Period. It is. A lot of parents think it's healthier just so kids don't fight, but I'm going through an infidelity piece right now with some friends of mine, and I'm 28 years, right? Hey, listen to me. Stop. I know you're right in the thick of it. I'm telling her, you do not have to get a divorce. You understand what happened. I said, I don't have to understand what happened. I lived it. Well, it's been a couple of different women over the last 8 years. Listen, that would call me a saint. That was the comparison.
Yeah.
That would call him a saint if that was a comparison to what I did to my wife.
Yeah.
And so, we happen to work through it. She said, well, she's stronger than I am. Listen, I should not. You're just as strong. So, everybody, and I said, listen, and by the end of the conversation, I said, you need to know that anybody from this point on for the next hour long until you put this thing to rest that tells you that you need to leave your husband, get a divorce, and screw him and all that, those aren't people that are for you. And I don't care, it could be your mom, your cousin, your sister, they are not for you.
Right.
Whoever tells you to sit in there and sit in the pocket and fight for this is the people that are for you, honestly for you. And especially if they're willing to walk through that with you.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm one of those people.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. It's like, and it's taken me forever to just discern that. It's like there's a difference between someone being in your circle and in your corner. Very, very, very big difference. And you have to really examine the messages and the messenger, because there's tons of people in your circle that aren't in the corner. There's tons of people who aren't going to defend your name when you ain't there. There's tons of people who aren't the same in front of you that they are behind you. There's tons of people who aren't the same one-on-one if they are in a group. These are all things that I've started to analyze, and frankly,
well, and it's what I told about, and I can't remember. This was another infidelity deal that I've been dealing with two or three different ones. Right, I don't know how to draw the I do. Obviously, doing God's work. But I said, there may be a piece of this. Part of God's plan in this is to help you prune some people out of your life.
sure,
Believe it or not.
Sure.
That may be some of the good.
and that doesn't mean they're really bad people. They're just not for you.
It's just a different season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are meant to be. I said so, and you're going to know who those people are.
Tyler Perry explains it. He's like,
He just did the other night.
he talks about the boosters on the rocket. It's like, that's similar to your friends. They could project you and then they break off. Doesn't mean they're bad. They just can't go where you're going, and you can't go where they're going. It's just,
That's good. Yeah.
it's a very good analogy. And so you need to be able to,
You got to know when that is.
it's,
Who that is, you got to be able to discern that, because some people can hold on for too long.
and there doesn't have to be like this line in the sand break. You just gradually,
Right.
here, look, you stop looking for people, they'll stop looking for you.
Absolutely.
And so it can be just that simple.
Yeah, and if you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people, you're equally yoked in your beliefs and all that stuff. You're going, no matter, and you know how it is. You got certain friends that you wax and wane in your contact with them, but when you come back, it was like the day you left.
And it may be a year since you talked to them.
Yeah, and those are your people. It doesn't take to life every day. It doesn't, you know what I mean? The ones that you get can go away. Some go away and never come back.
Right.
And those are whatever. God's got plans, but you got to understand that. You got to discern who that is, what God's plans are, and be okay with it, right?
Right.
And comfortable.
So real quick before we end, how do people find out more about the Stronger Movement? Where do they go?
So thestrongerleader.com is that's got the links to whatever your social platform that you prefer. I'm on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course the website, Stronger Leader. On thestrongerleader.com, there is some merch.
There you are. Good. There you are. Good.
Sheldon merch.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna go out and buy some stuff.
Courtesy of Cumbies.
Yeah.
Little shameless plug for Cumbies. There, put a store out for us.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, so we're where it's going to go, I don't know. I've been being my doctors with the Thunder. He's made an interest to maybe talking to the administration of the Thunder. I'd be come out and speak to the team. So that would be my biggest stage if that happens, right? So that would be really cool. So I don't know. I don't have any.
Don't put God in the box. Do your thing. Let it do what it do.
I have no monetary motives whatsoever. You know, I've reached out to some people, some very big influential people that I'm kind of trying to cash in on some favors and you know, just things, and that's one of the things that I say. This is not an ask for anything financially at all. I'm just asking for it, or you know, can I get on your podcast? Can you share my content? Can you just anything to help me increase my influence? I don't want any sponsorship. I don't want anybody. I don't want you to pay me. None of that, right? And if that were to come of a deal that is necessary, God will provide. Yeah, so that's meantime. I keep doing my car business. Keep doing what I'm doing. I have. That's another thing. It's so funny because sometimes you look beyond, right? Of you want to help the world, save the world. If you want to save the world, start your home. I apparently, judging by my actions last night, I got plenty of work to do at home.
Oh, you ain't telling me.
You know what I mean? And I keep that helps my governor so that I don't try to get too big and try to go beyond really, because listen, I'm blessed to steward 4 really good dealerships with a lot of great employees that have needs and you know, spiritual needs and personal needs, you know, enough. And so as often as I can, I get to utilize this as ministry, so to speak, right there in my own work. And so sometimes I get frustrated, you know, like you do with any work, right? Your job, like after me, I don't make enough money for this. And other days you feel like, man, I'm dramatically overpaid for what I do. Right?
Sure.
Yeah, it all averages out, but never ever do I, or I always try to make sure I never lose sight that what I get to do morally in my dealerships by being influenced to young men. I mean, we have a lot of young men that work for us, right? So, man, I get right there. I get to go to work every day and do what I love to do and impact young men's lives, right? So that's what's cool about that. So anyway, yeah. So
TheStrongerLeader.com, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the social media platforms.
Yep.
And with merch from companies. He says great work. Cop.
Good job, Kyle.
Good job.
All right. Thanks for very much.
Again, yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thanks,
All right.